Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing some shorter term technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, guys, because over the last 24 hours or so, Bitcoin has finally managed to put a reversal in motion. As we can see, guys, around 10 o'clock last night, Bitcoin rallied from the price then of around $8,150 to a recent high of $8,700. That's a nearly 7% spike in the span of 3 hours. That's what we're looking for on Bitcoin, guys. You know that's how this is supposed to work. And Bitcoin has now fallen a little bit and is trading around $8,450. This, in my opinion, does look like a bull flag. But in today's video, I want to discuss this rally, why it's so important, and why us rallying up here to right below the 200 simple moving average right here could actually be a sign that this correction that's been going on since June is about to come to an end. We got a lot of fresh technical analysis to get into in today's video, guys. So if you do enjoy today's video, make sure you smash that like button. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm, and I'd be very appreciative if you did that. Also, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that post notification bell, because we post daily and I wouldn't want you to miss any of the content. Before we dive on into it, guys, I do also want to remind you that the sale on CT2A will be running through the month of October. You'll get $40 off a checkout to the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, where you can learn everything you need to know about technical analysis in one place with one teacher in a concise form, but that nevertheless can be completed much quicker than learning all of this on your own. More on that at the end of the video. Anyway, guys, enough rambling and self-promotion aside, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. I do want to look in here on the shorter term charts on Coinbase here. If we zoom into the daily chart, if we zoom into the hourly chart, what we're going to see is what I showed you just a second ago. Bitcoin has actually rallied, but there's a lot more to the story than just that. As you guys can see, the 200 simple moving average on the hourly chart here actually seems to be what caused us to bounce. As you guys can see, we were below this moving average for quite some time. Bitcoin rallied above it back on the 7th. We came down, corrected, tested as support, and bounced once again. And we made this kind of stair-step pattern here that hopefully will continue into the next week or two. But nevertheless, Bitcoin did test this as support. It did not manage to get through it, even though it tested it for close to 48 hours in here. Bitcoin did eventually decide, nope, we're going to the moon, and we rallied up to $8,700. And guys, this movement is very important for many different reasons. One of them is because we got above this level of resistance that Bitcoin had been testing for the last couple of weeks, but also because we've set a higher high. That's really significant, guys, because we can draw a downtrend of resistance right here that Bitcoin was pretty much completely respecting, and Bitcoin has now disrespected that. Bitcoin has broken a level of resistance rather than breaking our support down here at 77.50. And if you guys know anything about the strength of support and resistance levels, that's something we talk about in CT2A here in this video, gauging the strength of support and resistance. If you know anything about that, you will know that it's important to determine how strong the bulls and the bears are and how strong the important levels of support and resistance are. And because Bitcoin has managed to break resistance that has been plaguing us for close to a month now, that does indicate that the resistance is weaker than the support, and that also does indicate that the bulls are perhaps slightly stronger than the bears, which is the exact climate that you need for a new rally to start. But guys, keep in mind, the rally hasn't started just yet. We've had a little bit of a bounce here. This is about a 7% move. The rally has not started yet. It's pretty clear when that will happen, when we'll get confirmation of that. It's going to happen when we break the 200 daily simple moving average, guys. People say technical analysis doesn't work. Here's proof that it does. Look at where Bitcoin rallied to. It rallied right up to and stopped at the 200 daily simple moving average. That moving average that we've been looking at here for basically the entire history of this channel, but especially over the last couple of weeks, Bitcoin rallied to it, tested it, got resistance, and rejected. We rallied up to around $8,700 where it currently sits, and we pulled back down to around $8,500 in brief consolidation. What we need to see happen now is for some follow-through. We need to see Bitcoin bounce and continue rallying above the 200 DSMA. If we can pull that off, Bitcoin's probably going to move up here closer to $10,000 and start testing levels of resistance up there that we'll discuss when the time comes. But for now, guys, there's two bullish things I want to point out. One of them is back on the hourly chart, so let's go back down there. First thing to point out is that this is what would be known as a bull flag. We can see that there's a level of resistance there, a level of support there. You could call that a wedge, you can call it a flag. It doesn't really matter what the pattern itself is. The point is it's a type of flagging pattern, and what those typically indicate is that Bitcoin has rallied into this pattern, and normally the rally that led into this pattern will predict how far the rally leading out of the pattern we'll go. And if we use a price target like that, that should give us a price target up close to $9,000. I'm not personally the biggest fan of price targets, but you can use them like that. You could even use this price target in this way and predict a $9,100 Bitcoin in the next couple of weeks if Bitcoin does manage to hold this flagging pattern. Now, I'm going to show you the other bullish example, but I do want to point something out, and that is over the last 6 hours, Bitcoin, instead of really trading sideways like you want to see in a flag, has started to trend sharply to the downside. So there is a possibility that this Bart Simpson's down and comes back down here, but if it does, we still have the 200 hourly simple moving average as support, and we may very well bounce off of there. So even if this pattern doesn't play out, it's very possible that we fall down and another pattern in the near-term future does. Moving right along here, guys, there's one other thing that we need to discuss, and that would be on the daily chart. Guys, I've been talking about this for the last week or so, and I kind of disregarded it because it didn't seem like it was going to be a big deal, but I also gave a caveat when I disregarded it. I said, if something happens, if anything happens, if Bitcoin even rallies to the 200 daily simple moving average, this is going to become important. I said that, I don't remember if it was 2 videos ago, I believe it was. In that video, I was talking about the daily cross on the MACD and what that'll mean for Bitcoin. I said, if Bitcoin gets any kind of rally, then it's going to be significant. Otherwise, it's not very important. Well, we saw it. We saw a 7% rally, and because of that, the MACD is being dragged to the upside. As you guys can see here, MACD crossed bullish 3 days ago, and because of this rally especially, the MACD has started to diverge in a very bullish manner. This is pointing to the upside. This is looking very healthy. Likewise, if we look at our RSI down here, the RSI is trending greatly to the upside, which is actually a very good sign. A lot of times people think RSI is trending to the upside. That's a bad thing because it's getting overbought. That's not true. Actually, when the RSI is trending in a certain direction, that normally gives strength to that direction. If it's trending up, that gives bullish strength. If it's trending down, that gives bearish strength. It seems obvious, but people sometimes forget it, so I figured I'd mention it. A couple of more things I want to mention, guys, is that we are also testing resistance on, you guessed it, the 20 exponential moving average. Guys, you know how much I love this exponential moving average. If you're in CT2A, literally the last video in the Academy is on this specific interval exponential moving average because it is so incredibly powerful. And on the daily chart, guys, when Bitcoin is above this moving average, we're in a rally. Guess where Bitcoin is testing right now? We're testing not only the 200 daily simple moving average, we're also testing the 20 daily exponential moving average. If we break both of these, they're converged perfectly, which means it's very strong resistance. It's going to be hard to get through this. But if we break both of these, we're back in rally territory. It's really that simple. We're very close. Because we've been down for so long, these moving averages, the 200 has slowed down its ascent, and the 20 has just straight up crashed. They came together. They're very close together. If we break through them, it's going to be very easy for us to go back into rally. Watch out for Bitcoin rallying to like $9,000. If we pull something like that off, we're back in a rally, and we could be seeing a $14,000, $15,000, $16,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. It's really going to depend on whether or not Bitcoin can get through this resistance. This is a critical decision point. I've been saying this for a long time. I've been saying that generally the month of October or somewhere around this time is going to be an important decision point for Bitcoin. Whether or not we break bearish or whether or not we break to the upside is going to indicate which way Bitcoin is going to go for the next 6 to 12 months, maybe even if we break to the downside. But now that decision point is no longer just kind of nebulous. It's not, okay, it might happen a week or 2 or 3 from now. It's going to be like more like a day or 2 or 3 from now. Whether or not Bitcoin breaks through this or rejects and falls lower, this is an important time in Bitcoin. I know a lot of people have lost interest in the space over the last couple of weeks as Bitcoin has traded sideways and been really boring. I implore you, keep an eye on the charts because if Bitcoin breaks to the upside here, it's going to be very important. One last piece of analysis to wrap up the video. Guys, make sure you're watching your volume. Now, I've heard a lot of people say you don't need volume to predict breakouts, and I'll be honest with you, one of the reasons I don't touch on volume very much here on the channel is because it's kind of a historian's indicator. It really becomes important after the fact, after something has happened. If you're doing back technical analysis, it's important, but by the time a volume candle comes in, you kind of already missed the rally because that means everybody's already buying, you know. But on something like this, which is a much longer term trend starter, if you see Bitcoin break these 2 levels of resistance, the 20 EMA and the 200 DSMA, if you see that happen, you also are going to need to see a volume candle. I'm talking like a red volume candle up to one of these back on the 26th or on the 24th. I want to see a big volume candle with Bitcoin breaking bullish. If we see that, that's confirmation and Bitcoin should be rallying from there. If we don't see that, it very well may be a fake out and we might be only going to 9,000 where we're going to have a rejection and fall back to the downside. And guys, that was going to do it for this video, but funnily enough, some news just broke while I was rambling here from the CFTC. So I want to go ahead and dive on into this real quick before we wrap the video up, because this is actually very important and we'll have to touch on it more in tomorrow's video. But guys, the CFTC just declared Ethereum a commodity. The new chair of the CFTC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, has declared today that Ethereum Ether is a commodity, leaving the door open to a plethora of newly regulated derivatives products on platforms like the CBOE. Let's back up. If you don't know what any of that means, here is what that means in layman's terms. Ethereum is not a security. And that's very important, because if Ethereum was deemed a security by the CFTC or the SEC or whoever it may concern, that would open the door for a lot of negative regulation. But because it was declared a commodity just recently, like a couple of hours ago, that means that Ethereum is not going to be subject to the harsh regulation that a security is. And that also means now that Ethereum is well defined, one, that's a step in the right direction for the fundamentals of Bitcoin, because figuring out whether or not a cryptocurrency is a security, a commodity, what kind of product it actually is, that's an important foundation for the regulatory landscape of these currencies. But it also means that Ethereum can be included in things like CBOE and derivatives products, and we might see something like an Ethereum futures market in the future. So stuff like that is now on the table. Although the CFTC had previously declared that Bitcoin and other virtual currencies should be treated as commodities in 2015, Tarbert's remarks today are the first time a CFTC official has ever publicly commented on Ethereum. Today's news marks an about-face in the American regulators' treatment of Ethereum's Ether. The asset was scrutinized by the SEC last year on whether its 2015 token sale meant it could be classified as a security under the Howey test. Tarbert also mentioned that networks like Bitcoin Cash or Ethereum Classic should have the same legal status as the networks they forked from. This is a developing story. Had to put those italics in there for the dramatic effect, along with the rest of the background on the black website here. Nevertheless, guys, that is a very important fundamental for Bitcoin. Everything seems to kind of happen all at once in the cryptocurrency market. We haven't had anything interesting happen in about a month, and I'll be honest with you, it's been getting kind of boring, but things are starting to heat up. Bitcoin's had a little bit of a rally. We have the potential for Bitcoin to rally and break resistance in the next couple of days. We've just had this news come out of the CFTC to remind us that the fundamental landscape of Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market is ever improving. Guys, I'm very happy with where Bitcoin is right now, and I'm very much looking forward to the short-term, mid-term, and long-term future of this market. Tell me in the comment section down below what your take on the analysis was today, and what you think about the CFTC's announcement. Anyway, guys, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. But before we go, I do want to remind you about the sale on the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, guys. In short, if you don't feel that your skills are up to the point where you can competently read these markets, do technical analysis on them, trade, invest, and profit in them, you need to have some kind of education. Now, I'll be completely honest with you. You can do what I did and go on YouTube and go on Investopedia and all these different other websites and learn technical analysis on your own over the course of 2 years and probably over 1,000 hours of working in these markets like I did. You can do that. I don't recommend that, because with the $40 off coupon code down below, you're going to get access to all of that valuable information that I spent 2 years learning for $159, boiled down into about 10 hours of content. Guys, this time next week, you could be caught up to speed with where I am in technical analysis. Guys, this time next week, you could learn lessons that are worth thousands and thousands of dollars, because you will learn how to read these markets. You will learn how to trade these markets. You will learn the nuances of these markets. You will learn how they work. And it's very important that you understand how they work so that you can learn how to trade in them. There is nothing more important in your technical analysis and your trading career than your education. So whether or not you spend the next 2 years doing that on your own, or you take an academy or a course, whether or not it's mine, I want the best for you guys. If you think there's a better option, tell me, and I will make sure mine's the most competitive on the market. But I want you to do what's best for you. And I honestly, genuinely think that the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy will help you. We have nearly 900 members in the academy. It's around 890 right now, and our students are loving it. If you want to hear from our actual students, what I encourage you to do is leave a comment in the comment section down below asking CT2A members what they think. If they don't respond, here's what you can do. Join the Discord server down below. There's hundreds of CT2A members in the Discord server, and you can talk to them in private where I can't see it, where no one can see. You can talk to them in private messaging. Get their full testimony of take. The pros, the cons, the good, the bad of the academy. Get their testimony. I don't have to worry about what my students are going to say, because we built a good product here. We built a product that helps them, and I know what they're going to say. They're going to say good things about the academy. If you don't believe me, do what I just said. Go talk to them in private where I can't see. I implore you to do that. I want to make sure you're making a good decision, but I genuinely do think that CT2A will help you because of how many people it's already helped. So guys, check that out. The link in the description down below if you're interested in honing your skills here in the market. Anyway, guys, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. I do need to go and joyride on my new CBR 300R for about 800 hours today, so I'm going to go and do that. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did, like I said, go ahead and smash that like button, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and smash the post notification bell so you'll be updated every single time a new video goes live. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much going to do it for today's video. I do want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.